the knowledge area and processes. Since you all aspire to become certified project managers by successfully completing your PMP certification, it's important to learn about knowledge areas and the processes that are published through the PMBOK, which is the official guide by PMI. In the PMBOK, you'll find that there are 10 different knowledge areas and 49 different processes. If you count these processes, there are 49 of them, along with 10 knowledge areas. Additionally, there are process groups. The process groups include initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. These process groups, knowledge areas, and processes are all interconnected. I would like to quickly show you how all of these process groups and processes come into play. Let's take a quick look at this. Let's start with integration. Project integration is one of the largest knowledge areas because it involves key activities like developing a project charter. The project charter empowers the project manager, making it an essential component. We also work on the project management plan, which includes various subsidiary management plans covering scope, skills, quality, risk, and more. Once we have a plan in place, we begin execution. This is where directing and managing project work come into play as we start executing the agreed-upon plan. During execution, it is essential to continuously monitor and control project work. Control is necessary because if there is a deviation from the plan, corrective actions need to be taken. For instance, if there is overspending, we must identify ways to reduce costs through corrective measures. Integrated change control is another crucial aspect. While working on a project, additional requests may arise beyond the initially agreed scope. These changes could be due to the customer's evolving understanding of the project, prototype reviews, or demos. Managing these changes effectively is a key part of integration management. Integration management also covers closing project activities. As you can see, integration management is a significant component because it spans all process groups. Next, we have scope management. This involves planning scope management, collecting requirements, defining scope, and breaking down scope items into smaller components as part of the work breakdown structure, WBS. Once this is in place, we also need to ensure that the scope is validated. So we need to have that traceability in place, so that what we are building is in line with what is being agreed upon between you and the customer and how we can control the scope as well. That scope creep should not occur, and any change that comes in is managed effectively. Then, moving to time management. This is where we again start working on planning schedule management activities. Once we have a schedule management plan, we then define the activities. Activities are derived from the scope items that we have worked upon. Once we have activities that you are going to perform on the project, you have to sequence them. Without sequencing the activities, you would not be able to understand what needs to be done first, what needs to be done second, etc. So it's very important to sequence those activities, and then you will estimate, for each activity, how many resources are required. You will also estimate how long that activity will take. Based on all this information, you will come up with a schedule in the develop schedule process. Once we have a schedule in place, what's important is to control that schedule. All this happens as a part of time management as a knowledge area. Moving to cost management, this is where we learn about planning cost management. We create a plan for that and then go on to estimate costs. How do we estimate costs for each of these activities that we have listed? How much would it cost? It could be a bottom-up estimation that you could do. Based on the cost estimated for each of the activities, you will then determine the budget. You will just roll it up, calculate how much it will take, and based on that, determine the budget. Then, you'll have to control that budget once we have it in place. Quality management will take care of the quality management plan. Whatever is agreed upon between you and the customer in terms of quality, and whatever your quality commitment is, needs to be captured there. We will also have to perform certain processes like quality assurance activities. This ensures that what you are building is of better quality. Quality assurance will make sure that you are building quality into the product. Then, of course, you will control quality. For example, in a software project, you will ensure that coding standards are followed so that the code quality is better. You will follow practices like refactoring to remove duplicate or unnecessary lines of code. All of that will ensure that what you're producing is high-quality code, meeting the minimum requirements to execute the program and develop the intended functionality. Human resource management will cover the planning aspect, starting with creating a human resource management plan. Other aspects include acquiring human resources for the project, developing them, providing training, managing them throughout, and retaining them. It is also important to ensure that people are happy on the project and motivated. The communication management plan will cover creating the plan itself, including what to communicate, when to communicate, whom to communicate with, and the mode of communication. Will it be a meeting, an email, or a push-or-pull communication method? What communication channels will be used? All this information will be captured in the plan. Once the plan is in place, we need to manage and control it effectively. Then comes procurement management. This is where we create a procurement management plan upfront and then execute it. It includes deciding what to outsource, how much, selecting vendors, and conducting procurement activities. Once the project is over, we will close procurement, which involves contract closure. Risk management is another important knowledge area. We create a risk management plan and, most importantly, define how to identify risks. How will we conduct qualitative and quantitative risk analysis? Organizations may already have templates for this, which can be used here. Then, we do risk response planning, prioritizing risks and deciding which risks to mitigate, transfer, or accept. Sometimes, mitigation may cost more than accepting the risk. We periodically review the plan to control risks effectively. The last but most important topic is stakeholder management. This is where we focus on how to identify stakeholders and how to manage them effectively. Different stakeholder management strategies need to be planned. We must consider stakeholder engagement based on their power and interest. It is important to analyze the influence of each stakeholder and how much power they hold. To do this, we create grids to categorize stakeholders and manage them accordingly. Some stakeholders need to be managed closely, while others only need to be informed about updates. Decisions should be made based on the influence and power of each stakeholder to ensure effective management. This approach helps in maintaining control over stakeholder interactions. This covers all 10 knowledge areas and 49 processes, which we will study in detail as part of the PMP certification training program. So this brings us to the next slide, and this talks about methodologies. So what are some of the methodologies that we can think of in project management? Since we are talking about project management, we need to have proper governance in place. There are certain methodologies that actually help us ensure that all of this is being followed effectively, and you will come across many of them now. Starting with Agile, because these days, we talk about Agile a lot. Agile certainly helps in delivering better business value, and it also helps in identifying issues and defects very early in the cycle. In turn, it gives us a lot of opportunities and time to fix those defects and work through them. Agile is definitely one of the most popular methodologies these days. Waterfall was there once upon a time, and it is still used. It's not bad where things are clear upfront, no changes are expected, and feedback loops are not required frequently. I think even Waterfall gives good results, provided all these conditions are met. However, typically in software projects, we have seen that many times we work on complex adaptive systems where there is a lot of uncertainty from both the technology and requirements point of view. This often leads to changes being introduced in the project. Scrum is one of the agile methodologies, and it's very lightweight, described in only 18 pages. Scrum helps in bringing good governance within a team because it has fixed time-boxed iterations as well as certain fixed ceremonies. Scrum is definitely one of the most popular agile methodologies. Then we have Rapid Application Development, RAD, which was introduced during the early 90s. RAD involves a lot of prototyping, taking early feedback, and building upon that. It was very effective at that point in time. In fact, Agile evolved from rapid application development. It was definitely one of the inputs. New product integration is another approach, focusing on integrating new products with specific attention. Prince2 is another methodology, which also has a certification available for those interested. Prince2 focuses on projects in a controlled environment and is a structured project management method. It emphasizes managing and controlling various project stages. There is proper training available for Prince2, but we don't need to go into all of that right now. Kanban is another methodology within Agile, but Kanban is actually very old. It was first tried in the Toyota production system, and from there, it has become widely popular. These days, Kanban is even used in portfolio management and scaled Agile frameworks. It is a very simple yet powerful methodology. The main objective of Kanban is to make things visible, create a flow of work, and control work in progress. This helps in identifying bottlenecks and reducing cycle time or lead time. Six Sigma is another methodology, and it is more statistical in nature. It is heavily used in industries where things are tangible, measurable, and can be analyzed using statistical tools. This allows us to understand the current state and move toward an improved state, whether that means enhancing productivity, reducing costs, or improving efficiency. MAKE is one of the methodologies within Six Sigma. It is defined by the steps: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. These are the phases within the MAKE cycle, which are followed in Six Sigma projects. When you implement the cycle, you will understand how it all works. Another important methodology is outcome mapping. Outcome mapping focuses more on planning, monitoring, and evaluating activities. These are key tasks, especially from the perspective of social change. This is where outcome mapping becomes relevant. These are just a few of the available methodologies that we can use. Each of them has its own advantages and disadvantages. Project schedule management. We have to talk about some of the important topics associated with project schedule management. In fact, one of the important changes that the PMI has introduced as part of the PMBOK 6th edition involves the fact that we now call it schedule management and not just time management. So it's important for us to understand why schedule management is essential and what some of the important processes within this knowledge area. We need to understand them not only from an exam point of view but also for practical implementation in project schedule management. Today's webinar is essentially a high-level overview of project schedule management. We will be talking about project schedules, the various processes within them, and how to manage the project schedule effectively. So let's get started with the project schedule management webinar. As you all know, the project schedule is very important, especially from the perspective of the project manager. The project manager is ultimately responsible for ensuring that the project is delivered within the schedule. Hence, as I mentioned earlier, schedule management is one of the most important knowledge areas among the 10 knowledge areas we discuss. Apart from the other knowledge areas covered in project management training, such as risk management, stakeholder management, and resource management, one of the most important ones is definitely project schedule management. In today's webinar, we will discuss various aspects of schedule management. We will explore some of the important tools and techniques that can be used to manage schedules effectively and to develop the skill of managing project schedules efficiently. We will examine these skills, tools, and techniques that are required. Additionally, we will look into the monitoring and controlling aspects of project schedules. As I mentioned earlier, once we start working on project activities, it is crucial to ensure that we control and manage them properly. To deliver the project within the agreed schedule, we will discuss how to monitor and control scheduling activities. Not only that, but we will also understand the importance of timely project completion. In order to achieve this, we will explore how to approach schedule management activities in an organized manner to maintain better control over the schedule we have established. We will go through all the processes within schedule management at a high level. Now, talking about project schedules, it is important for us to understand a few key aspects of schedule management. First, we need to consider scheduling methods. There are various scheduling methods that we use. When we talk about scheduling, we approach project scheduling systematically, as outlined in the PMBOK. The PMBOK provides guidelines and principles for effective schedule management. There are certain scheduling methods available that we can refer to when developing a project schedule. Project information plays a crucial role in determining the project schedule, as it serves as the input for deriving the schedule. The information we use, such as project milestones, phases, activities, and background context, helps us apply the right scheduling tools effectively. With the right set of skills as a project manager or team member, you can develop an effective project schedule. Various components play a role in schedule management, including having enough information about activities, phases, milestones, and project context. Once we have this information, we can apply the right scheduling tools and methods to develop an organized schedule. This structured approach helps ensure a well-defined plan for project execution. When we begin schedule management activities, one of the most important aspects is developing a schedule model. This model captures key milestones and activity dates, allowing us to track progress throughout the project life cycle. All these elements are critical for effective schedule management. If they are in place, you will be able to manage the project schedule efficiently. Now let's talk about the tailoring aspect of schedule management. The PMBOK 6th edition emphasizes the importance of tailoring processes. As consultants, when we work with organizations and teams, one of our key responsibilities is to tailor existing processes to make them more effective. We must adjust them in a way that makes implementation easier for project teams. If you have a continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline in place, then obviously that will make it much easier to perform those activities with respect to release management or the deployment of the software package from one environment to another. So that will have an impact on the duration of the activities and various project dimensions, which could be from the customer's point of view. It could be from the scope point of view, or it could be other angles of the project or dimensions of the projects that we talked about. So these things need to be taken into consideration, especially with respect to coming up with the project schedule. Now, it's time for us to move on to the next point, when to use project management methodologies. You might have this question in mind because there are so many of them. Let's quickly discuss when to apply some of these methodologies. When to use PM methodologies. When organizational reputation is at stake. If an organization does not take a structured approach to project management, its effectiveness is compromised. This, in turn, can impact the company's reputation. A methodology ensures that projects are handled systematically. For example, if you are working on sustainable projects, applying PRISM will help achieve better results. Relevance to the company's future objectives. If a methodology aligns with the company's goals, it should be considered. For instance, if cost reduction is a priority, applying Lean and Six Sigma can help by streamlining small improvement projects and reducing material and resource waste. High risk and uncertainty. When a project involves high risks and uncertainties, a structured methodology is crucial. Without a clear approach, project success is unlikely. A good example is cloud migration combined with application changes. Such projects require risk management methodologies. Interrelated project risks. If project risks are interrelated, applying a methodology helps in effectively addressing them. Event chain methodology is useful in identifying risk chains, while Monte Carlo analysis helps in assessing effort magnitudes. High effort magnitude. When projects demand significant effort, managing them without a structured methodology leads to inefficiency. Methodologies provide techniques, procedures, and rules to guide project execution. Uncertainty and unfamiliarity. If a project is unfamiliar or uncertain, methodologies offer structured guidance. How to choose the right methodology? Since there are many methodologies, selecting the right one requires careful evaluation. Consider the following factors. Project evaluation. Evaluate your project, team, organization, tools, and stakeholders. Consider factors such as financial budget, timelines, project size, complexity, industry type, and stakeholder expectations. For instance, if working in research and development, a specific methodology is required, whereas in IT, Agile and DevOps can be beneficial. Team considerations. Experience levels. If the team is inexperienced, Agile may be difficult to implement. Training. If a project requires domain expertise, example, banking projects, proper training is essential. Self-organization. Agile requires teams to be self-organized, so ensure your team is prepared. Geographic location. If the team is dispersed, collaboration tools like Jira and Confluence can be helpful. Organization factors. Culture and size. If an organization has a rigid hierarchy, certain methodologies may not work effectively. Flexibility. Highly regulated industries, example banking, have less flexibility, affecting methodology choices. Resource availability. If a team is highly distributed, collaboration tools may be necessary. Industry type. Fast-moving industries like e-commerce require dynamic methodologies, example, DevOps for frequent updates. Past experience. If the organization lacks experience in a methodology, external consultants may be needed. Maturity level. Older, established companies might have different methodology needs than startups. Tools considerations. Tool limitations. Some organizations restrict the use of open source tools, impacting methodology choices. Tool compatibility. If DevOps is used, but continuous integration delivery tools are unavailable, implementation will be difficult. Stakeholder involvement. If stakeholders are unwilling to participate in Agile, its implementation will be challenging. Stakeholders' preferences also play a role. If they prefer less frequent deployments, a methodology like Waterfall might be more suitable. Project management tools. Project management tools are crucial for organizing tasks efficiently. While tools are enablers, mindset and methodology alignment are key to success. Selecting the right methodology and aligning with its principles lead to better project outcomes. Here are some popular project management tools. Microsoft Project. Features: cloud on-premise options, integrated planning tools. Pricing: $7 to $55 per user month, cloud-based, $590 to $1,160 on-premise. Used by Intel, Accenture. Scoro. Features: CRM, productivity tracking, project management. Pricing: $22 to $55 per user month. Used by Beamley, Newton. Freedcamp. Features: task assignment, event scheduling, time tracking. Pricing: free, business plan at $6.99 user month. Used by American Red Cross. Podio. Features: collaboration, CRM, custom dashboards. Pricing: free, premium plan at $24 user month. Used by Volvo, Sony. Zoho Projects. Features: task scheduling, reports, bug tracking. Pricing: $1 to $5 per employee. Used by Google, Ultimate Medical Academy. Basecamp. Features: to-do lists, calendaring, file sharing. Pricing: $99 per month, single plan. Used by Groupon, Johns Hopkins University. Jira. Features: bug tracking, agile project management. Pricing: $10 for up to 10 users, $7 per user for 11 to 100 users. Used by IBM, LinkedIn, Trello. Features: Kanban-style task management. Pricing: free, enterprise plan at $20.83 user month. Used by Red Hat, Adobe, Asana. Features: task tracking, calendar views, automation. Pricing: free, premium plan at $9.99 user month. Used by Uber, NASA, Reich. Features: task visibility, collaboration. Used by major organizations worldwide. Good project management leads to successful projects. While small projects are easy to manage, complexity increases with more stakeholders. This is where project management tools and methodologies play a crucial role. Project management ensures a smooth development flow from conception to delivery. Selecting the right methodology and aligning it with project goals, team capabilities, and organizational structure is key to success. Now that you understand project management methodologies and tools, you can confidently choose the best approach for your projects.